Murphy's Law is once again in full effect for the Indiana Fever as Sophie Cunningham is ruled out for the rest of the season. So, what does this mean? They signed a new guard. Is Caitlin Clark ever coming back?
Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham just dropped a WNBA bombshell, and it's heartbreaking. Fans are stunned, analysts are furious, and the league is scrambling.
Today, this is what happens when you let dirty players play dirty. This is what happens when you fail to correct malicious behavior on the court, and a few weeks later, that player is over here taking out somebody's knees.
Because what these two stars, joined by Lexi Hull, revealed just moments ago isn't just another injury update. It's a direct challenge to the very league they carried on their shoulders. So here's the question: what exactly did they announce, and why do fans believe this moment could change women's basketball forever? Stay locked in, because we're about to break down the injuries, the silence, the betrayal, and the announcement that has the entire basketball world in shock. Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hull, three names that should have been celebrated as the future of women's basketball, instead became the center of a heartbreaking controversy. Caitlin Clark was supposed to be the WNBA's golden ticket, the rookie who turned every game into a national headline. But one brutal injury later, and her season was left hanging in the balance.
We don't know when they'll make it back to the floor. This honestly sucks. I waited all off season. You know what I mean? Like, KTV was ready to watch Caitlin Clark get busy this year, and now it's over already. We got 13 games of Caitlin Clark. This season has been a complete train wreck.
Fans prayed she'd recover quickly. Instead, what they saw was silence. Silence from the league, silence from officials, silence when it mattered most. Then there's Sophie Cunningham, the fiery veteran with unmatched passion, a player who never backed down from a challenge. But when her knee gave out in a devastating injury, fans were horrified. Some even whispered the unthinkable, that her career might never be the same. And once again, the WNBA had nothing to say.
So on August 17th, in the game, Bria Hartley fell to the outside of Sophie Cunningham's leg. Sophie fell down, screamed out in pain, and she had to be helped off the court. It was quite a scary moment because she was visibly in so much pain. So the first thought is that it's an ACL, and that would be a very bad thing. Luckily, it was not a torn ACL, it was a torn MCL, which is a ligament on the inside of the knee. It very often happens when a knee is like hyperextended or like hit from the side. And so the Indiana Fever did announce today that Sophie will be out for the rest of the season.
And finally, Lexi Hull. Tough as nails, always overlooked, but never afraid to put her body on the line. Her eye injury left fans sick to their stomachs. The footage was hard to watch. A hit so brutal that some feared she could have fractured her skull.
So lads, I'm making this video because I'm actually angry. I am fully angry at the coaching staff, at the training staff in the Indiana Fever. I am actually angry. And this isn't angry on a fan level. This is angry on a human level. Lexi Hull should not have been allowed in the game. This is scary. And for all of you guys being like, oh, there was no concussion, the doctors, the training staff, they did a check. I'm sorry, they probably put their hand in front of her face and she was able to follow it with her eyes.
Commentators demanded answers. Doctors were questioned. But the league, they looked the other way. 3 players, 3 broken bodies, and not a single word of accountability from the WNBA.
She's injured too. Many believe that their injuries are a result of dirty play. Throughout the season, fans and WNBA players, they have been begging the league to crack down on dirty players. But the diva of Dump Divas, Kat Engelbert, She is either incapable or she is unwilling to protect her star players. And Uncle KC is having a very hard time understanding why.
Imagine giving your blood, sweat, and heart to the game, only to be treated like you don't matter. That's how these women felt. They weren't just athletes. They were the faces of hope, the stars carrying the league's future. And when they needed support most, they were abandoned.
If you're the WNBA, common sense would dictate that you do everything in your power to protect your star players. You do everything you can to protect your assets. But for some reason, this dump of a league seems to protect anonymous faces over the pretty faces. They protect the players who are injuring the players that people are paying to see.
The frustration didn't just sit quietly behind the scenes. It built. It grew. Until finally, minutes ago, it exploded into the open. Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark, Lexi Hull, 3 voices, 1 united announcement, and it shook the league to its core. They didn't hold back. They called out the WNBA's silence. They exposed what it feels like to be treated as disposable. And they declared, "We will not stay silent anymore." The internet erupted. Fans couldn't believe what they were hearing. Hashtags like Justice for Caitlin and Stand with Sophie started trending immediately. Comment sections flooded with outrage. People weren't just upset. They were furious. Sports analysts went off. Stephen A. Smith didn't mince words. He said, "If the WNBA wants respect, it starts with respecting its stars." Period.
I'm not going to ignore, nor am I going to take my eyes off of what transpires with the WNBA over the next 2 weeks while Caitlin Clark is out with the quad strain. And the reason why is because, let me tell you something right now, I'm not going to go to word hate. I'm not going to be out there like RG3 was saying that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark or other players hate Caitlin Clark. But I will say this, I don't think it's specific about Caitlin Clark. I think it's what Caitlin Clark represents. See, it's through no fault of Caitlin Clark. Ended up as an all-star, ended up being 4th in the league in MVP voting, was the clear winner for Rookie of the Year. No competition whatsoever in that regard. When it was really all said and done, we know what she brings to the table. But people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm. And they resented it because they saw the marketing prowess that she had.
Even rival players joined in, quietly liking posts, dropping subtle messages of support, making it clear that this wasn't just about 3 women. This was about everyone in the league who felt ignored, undervalued, and unprotected. And the fans, they were heartbroken. They felt scammed, lied to, and used. They tuned in night after night to watch these stars shine, only to learn that behind the scenes, their well-being didn't seem to matter. Think about the contrast here. On one hand, Caitlin Clark had been hailed as the savior of the WNBA, the face of a new era. On the other, when her rookie season was derailed by injury, she was left to fight alone. Sophie Cunningham was praised for her toughness, her grit, her ability to inspire a team. But when her knee buckled and her career was in jeopardy, the league didn't even flinch. Lexi Hull played through pain that would sideline most athletes. Her eyes swollen, her face battered, her body screaming to stop. But instead of being protected, she was tossed back into the fire. And that's what made this announcement hit so hard. It wasn't just about injuries. It was about respect, about dignity, about the simple truth that these women are more than just dollar signs. The WNBA never wanted this story told, but now it's out. And the league can't hide from it anymore. This is where everything reaches a breaking point. The announcement wasn't just a press release. It was a declaration of war, a player versus league showdown unlike anything the WNBA has faced before. And the questions started pouring in immediately. Would Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexi Hull walk away from the WNBA entirely? Would they demand sweeping reforms before ever stepping back on the court? Or would this moment spiral into the biggest player rebellion women's basketball has ever seen? Fans don't know the answer yet, but they do know one thing. The silence is over. The heartbreak of Clark's injury, the devastation of Cunningham's knee, the trauma of Hull's eye. Each moment revealed the same painful truth. The league failed to protect its stars, and now those stars are refusing to be quiet about it. Think about the weight of this. Caitlin Clark was supposed to inspire millions with her rookie season. Instead, her defining moment may now be standing up against the league that failed her. Sophie Cunningham was admired for her grit, and that grit is now fueling her fight for change. And Lexi Hull? Her resilience has become a symbol for every overlooked player who deserved more respect. This isn't just about 3 athletes anymore. This is about the future of women's basketball. And make no mistake, this moment has already changed everything. Fans are demanding answers. The media is locked in. Analysts are calling it the league's biggest crisis yet. And with players uniting, the WNBA can't stay silent forever. So here's the bottom line. Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham didn't just drop a bombshell, they lit a fire. And whether that fire forces change or burns the league from the inside out, depends on what happens next. If you believe these women deserve justice, drop justice for Caitlin, Sophie, and Lexi in the comments right now. Let the league know the fans are watching, because the next chapter in this story could decide the fate of the WNBA itself.
What you gonna do without the great white hope? With them ratings getting low, cat, I really need to know. And how you gonna act? How you gonna handle that? What you gonna do when Caitlin don't come back? A song, a remix that perfectly encapsulates what's going on right now in the WNBA dump.
The 2025 WNBA Awards are about to cause chaos, and the MVP race may deliver the biggest snub in league history.
5 WNBA MVP odds have just been released. Asia Wilson at 1, Caitlin Clark at 2, Brianna Stewart at 3, and Nafisa Collier 4.
Fans are already buzzing, players are campaigning, and the numbers. They tell a story that's anything but clear. Today, we're breaking down every award, MVP, Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year, and more to show you exactly why these predictions will shock you. So who's really walking away with the league's biggest honors?
People were actually willing to spend money to watch the WNBA. Previously unknown players, they had the chance to become stars if they were willing to let the real star take the lead and benefit from the spotlight that she was providing. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Instead of allowing Caitlin Clark to elevate the league, WNBA players were overtaken with powerful feelings of jealousy. They resented her. They wanted her to go away.
Let's find out. The Most Valuable Player award is always dramatic, but this season, it's a battlefield. Let's start with Nafisa Collier.
If the Lynx win through, I don't see Fee not winning MVP. However, it's MVP is a lot about what you've done lately. And ironically, I think in the same way that I thought Fee should have been the MVP last year, I also think Aja should win it by this, because Aja's had a much better second half of the season. The only thing is that Fee Collier did not lose any games by 53 points.
Minnesota's star forward exploded out of the gates, leading her team to a 9-0 start and delivering consistent two-way dominance. She racked up 15 games of 20 or more points, locked down opponents with 13 games of at least 2 steals, and even had multiple 3-block nights. At the halfway point of the season, Collier looked like the frontrunner, but then Aja Wilson happened. The reigning MVP didn't just close the gap, she blew it open.
The Lynx have played the Aces. Fee has 1,000,000% gotten the better of has gotten the better more often than not of Aja Wilson. However, yesterday, Aja Wilson had 31 points on 15 shots and missed 3. Fee had 12 points on 13 shots and was minus 13 in a 10-point loss. I understand Fee was pulled early. I understand that this was game 7 of the finals for the Aces, and this was just another Thursday for the Lynx.
Wilson leads the WNBA in both points and blocks per game, fueling Las Vegas through a 14-game win streak, and she set a WNBA record with 13 30-point games in a single season. That's dominance on a level we haven't seen before. And if you thought this was just a 2-player race, think again. Alyssa Thomas of the Phoenix Mercury is averaging nearly a triple-double.
Alyssa Thomas is going to be starting our all-defensive team. She is a good defender. She's very close to averaging that elusive triple single. She's probably the best. In my opinion, the second best defender on the best defensive team. She's kind of their defensive anchor, and she's just very, very good on that end of the floor. Offensively, I think she's a liability. I don't rate her as high as a player as a lot of people do, but I mean, a lot of people rate her very, very highly that know a lot about the sport, so I'm probably wrong in this one.
She broke her own record for triple-doubles in a season and surpassed Caitlin Clark's all-time assist record. She's top 6 in assists, rebounds, and steals. Numbers like that are almost unheard of. Here's the question. With Wilson smashing records, Collier elevating her team, and Thomas rewriting history, who's getting the MVP crown? And who's getting snubbed? If you thought MVP was messy, wait until you hear about Defensive Player of the Year. Collier, Thomas, and Wilson are all in the mix again. Collier is the reigning winner. Thomas anchors Phoenix's gritty defense, and Wilson blocks everything in sight. Each of them ranks top 20 in defensive win shares, proving they're carrying their teams on that end. But there's a twist. Minnesota's Alana Smith has quietly been the defensive engine behind the Lynx.
Smith again. Somebody's got to cool her off. She is in double figures inside Smith again, and she is just killing Seattle. Great point. Alana Smith for a career high, and she's got it.
She's third in blocks, adds more than a steal per game, and her impact doesn't always show up on the stat sheet. When Collier went down with an ankle injury, it was Smith who kept the Lynx's defense #1 in the league. So who takes it? The superstar names voters can't ignore, or the underrated anchor who deserves her flowers. This one might be too close to call, and fans are already bracing for controversy. Now let's talk about the award that celebrates growth. Most Improved Player. Golden State Valkyries guard Veronica Burton is the runaway choice.
Off that Bentley offensive rebound. Burton, the dagger!
Before this season, she was a role player, averaging just 2.7 points. This year, she's exploded to 12 points per game, leading the expansion Valkyries in scoring, assists, steals, and even blocks. She's 5th in the WNBA in assists and has carried Golden State to the playoffs after their lone all-star went down with an injury. Burton didn't just improve, she transformed into the heartbeat of an entire franchise. That's the kind of leap that changes careers forever. And then there's the 6th Player of the Year award, and it's a dogfight. Atlanta's Naz Hillman and Minnesota's Natisha Hiedeman have been trading blows all season. Hillman is averaging career highs across the board, rebounding at an elite level, and finally showing her offensive growth. But Hiedeman has been on fire lately, dropping 22 points per game in her last 3 outings. Right now, Hillman seems to have the edge. But with numbers this close, don't be shocked if the voters go the other way. Now let's get to the award everyone's been waiting for, Rookie of the Year. Dallas Wings star Paige Bueckers entered the league with sky-high expectations, and somehow, she's exceeded them.
Cunningham, aggressive. The 28-year-old in her 7th year out of Missouri.
Yeah.
And from the outside, counted.
Paige Bueckers did most proficient shooters from three-point landing. Nice pickup by Stephanie White.
As you mentioned, 27 last game. Seconds left to play in the half. Bueckers in traffic, backs up. Does it go? Oh my goodness.
Despite missing 8 games with injury, she's still ranked 5th in the WNBA in scoring, 8th in assists, and 5th in steals. She's the only player in the entire league to rank top 10 in all 3 categories. And she's not just putting up numbers, she's making history. Bueckers became the first rookie ever to score 40 points on 80% shooting. She broke multiple rookie scoring records and won Rookie of the Month 3 times in a row. Yes, Sonia Citrone and Kiki Iriafen have been impressive for the Mystics. But this isn't just a Rookie of the Year campaign. Buechers already looks like one of the best guards in the league. That's not hype. That's reality. Finally, the coaches. Golden State Valkyries head coach Natalie Nakase has done something we've never seen before. She led an expansion team to 23 wins and a playoff berth in year 1. No superstar, no stacked roster, just pure coaching. That's history. But Atlanta Dream head coach Carl Smesko has his own case. He took a team that won 15 games last season and turned them into a 29-win powerhouse. The Dream had 3 All-Stars and smashed the franchise record for wins. That's the kind of turnaround that cements a coach's legacy. So who takes it? The expansion miracle worker or the architect of a historic rebuild? Either way, this is one of the most fascinating Coach of the Year races in WNBA history. And here we are. With every award up for grabs, fans are bracing for fireworks. MVP could see a historic snub. Defensive Player of the Year is a coin flip. Most Improved in 6 player come with breakout drama. Paige Buechers is rewriting rookie history, and the coaching race might be the hardest of all. So here's the bold prediction. MVP, Aja Wilson, Defensive Player, too close to call. Most Improved, Veronica Burton. 6th player, Naz Hillman, Rookie of the Year. Paige Buechers, Coach of the Year, Natalie Nakase. If these predictions hold, the WNBA awards won't just shock fans, they'll break the internet. So what do you think? Who's getting snubbed and who deserves the crown? Drop your thoughts below, and if you're still watching, type MVP snubbed in the comments so I know you made it to the end. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss the biggest stories in women's basketball.
All right, y'all. Respect everyone, fear no one, right? You have earned the right to be in the position that we're in, 1 game away from the playoffs. You've earned that. We are not going to have to rely on anybody else, right? We take care of our right now. Own it. Every single possession. Everyone. It all matters.
Boston destroys Mystics. And this wasn't just a win, it was a message.
I feel like for me, it's just my approach. It's just coming in and just trying to be dominant in anything the team needs. And so if that gives off spicy, which I really don't think it does. I feel like I'm like kind of quiet. Spice? No, I just know. I see it. But yeah, I feel like that's just been my mindset. Is just coming in and just being the player that I need to be for us.
The Indiana Fever's 94-65 demolition of the Washington Mystics secured their spot in the playoffs. But here's the twist. Caitlin Clark wasn't on the floor. Neither were 4 other key contributors. Yet somehow, Aaliyah Boston didn't just dominate with her game, she dropped a line after the buzzer that had teammates buzzing and fans demanding to know more.
The Fever are officially in the playoffs right now. After a crazy season, a crazy season where, look, I think at the end of the day, not getting a lottery pick is not going to be good. But you know what? I can't be too negative. This team fought.
How did a team gutted by injuries turn heartbreak into a playoff-clinching blowout? And why are Boston's words now being called the rallying cry for this franchise? Stick around, because this is about more than just basketball. The Fever's season was supposed to belong to Caitlin Clark. Averaging over 16 points and electrifying crowds, she had fans believing the postseason wasn't just possible, it was expected. But disaster struck just 13 games in. A torn groin ended her season.
New this morning, ESPN is reporting that Caitlin Clark has injured her groin for the 2nd time this season. Clark left last night's game in the final minute, holding back tears after grabbing at her leg. She just returned back to WNBA action after missing 9 games for 2 other leg injuries. Despite the apparent injury, Clark racked up 14 points and made 4 of 14 shots, helping the Fever take the 85-77 win over the Connecticut Sun.
That single injury would have sunk most teams. For Indiana, it was only the beginning. Sophie Cunningham, gone. Chloe Beebe, gone. Sydney Colson, out. Ari McDonald, out. In total, 5 players, nearly half the rotation, vanished from the lineup. By mid-season, 18 different players had suited up in a Fever jersey. That's not a team, that's a revolving door. Analysts lined up to declare Indiana finished. Playoffs? Forget it. The season was supposed to be over, but instead of folding, the Fever found a new identity, Survival turned into belief. That belief exploded on the road against Washington. The first half was tight. The Mystics came out strong, trading buckets, forcing Indiana into tough looks. Tension built in the arena. With so many stars gone, fans wondered if this would be the night everything slipped away. But then came the third quarter, and the game flipped on its head. The Fever locked down defensively in a way that felt suffocating. The Mystics scored just 9 points in the entire quarter. 9. Every passing lane closed. Every drive met a wall. Indiana's defense didn't just hold, it smothered. From there, the Fever's offense roared to life. The lead ballooned past 20, past 25, all the way to a 33-point margin. Washington wasn't just beaten, they were buried. The box score told part of the story. Natasha Howard led with 17 points, punishing the Mystics inside.
Lobs it, right post, Howard, and one off the backboard. And Howard flexes.
Aaliyah Boston delivered yet another double-double. 12 points, 11 rebounds, controlling the paint on both ends.
And backing down area fence, spins, right-handed baby hook, bow, bow, bow.
Aerial Powers exploded off the bench for 15 points, becoming the spark plug that refused to let the energy dip.
With a double-double, feeds left wing, it's pure for Powers, tongue out with the celly.
Shea Petty, perfect, 3 for 3 from deep.
Petty, corner three, it's good, in front of the Fever bench.
Lexi Hull dove across the floor for loose balls, turning defense into transition. 5 Fever players hit double figures. That's balance. That's survival turned into dominance. And here's the stat that broke Washington. Turnovers. The Mystics coughed it up 22 times, leading to 27 Fever points. Indiana gave it away only 6 times. That's not just winning basketball, that's total control. But the real story wasn't just in the numbers. It was in the voice of Aaliyah Boston. After the game, she told her teammates, "Never doubt yourself and what you're capable of."
Did you guys feel like this was always possible to make the playoffs? Did you ever have moments of concern or doubt? And what allowed you guys to just keep, the eyes on the prize more or less? Yeah, I think, just being someone in this locker room, you never doubt yourself and what you're capable of, no matter what happens. I think the entire staff, up to the head, just made great decisions when people went down on who to bring in, the type of people to bring in. And that was really our mindset. We never doubted ourselves. We never doubted that we could be in the playoffs. Even if things looked like it got harder, for us, it was about sticking together. And I think through everything, you're able to see that, us play with joy, us play together, regardless of who's on that floor.
Those words hit harder than any rebound. Fans echoed it on social media. Teammates repeated it in the locker room. It wasn't just a mantra, it became their identity. Picture that post-game scene. Sweat-drenched players laughing, emotional, celebrating the franchise's first playoff berth since 2016. TikToks were made, smiles were everywhere. But Boston? She made sure the celebration didn't erase the mission. She reminded everyone the job wasn't done. Next game Tuesday, playoffs ahead, fun mixed with focus, the perfect balance of joy and leadership.
How would you describe the locker room after the game today, just being able to celebrate? Well, we didn't make a TikTok, so I think everyone is just super excited. Like you said, it hasn't been a perfect road. And so for us, it's enjoying the little moments while at the same time understanding we have another game on Tuesday and then we have to prepare for the playoffs. But I think just being in the moment and being where our feet are and kind of just enjoying this one.
That's why fans are calling her the anchor. If Caitlin Clark is the spark that grabs headlines, Boston is the foundation holding this house together. And on this night, that foundation destroyed the Mystics. Here's the climax. What looked like the Fever's downfall might actually have been their greatest blessing. Without Clark, Cunningham, McDonald, Colson, and Beebe, the team had no choice but to grow. Depth was forced. Leadership was discovered. Grit became identity. Boston's double-doubles kept stacking, 17 this year alone, breaking the franchise record. She now owns 41 in just 2 seasons. But more important than numbers, she gave her teammates a belief system. Never doubt. Play with joy. Stick together. And that belief turned heartbreak into a 29-point demolition. Now, the Fever head into the playoffs as the 7 seed, guaranteed their first home playoff game in nearly a decade. The matchups are brutal: Atlanta, Las Vegas, or Phoenix. All three are dangerous. But Indiana has already taken games from them this season, with this same short-handed roster. Suddenly, nobody wants to face the Fever. Because here's the big question: if this team can do this with half a roster, what happens when they're whole again? Aaliyah Boston didn't just dominate the Mystics. She destroyed the narrative that the Fever couldn't survive without Caitlin Clark. Her words became the rallying cry of a team built on resilience. And now, the WNBA has a problem. Because Indiana isn't just in the playoffs, they're coming with a chip on their shoulder. If you're fired up for this playoff run, drop Fever Playoffs in the comments right now. Smash that like button, subscribe for more WNBA breakdowns, and turn on all notifications so you never miss the drama. The Fever aren't done. They're just getting started.